Okay, welcome to your Indie Sunday stream brought to you by the Goodie Awards. My name is Noah, here hanging out with you on your Sunday afternoon. Thanks for tuning in to hang out with me. We're going to talk a little music, we're going to talk a little stuff, and we'll go from there. If you haven't had a chance, go check out the YouTube. Go check out the YouTube channel and go to the community section because there's a little poll that here in this headlines section that I want to talk a little bit about stuff. So you got to go over to the community part. Let me show you. Let me show you this or whatever. Let me share my screen. Okay, over here on the Goodie Awards YouTube channel, which you're watching this on right now. So you can pop over to the community tab, and we got a poll going here. Who do you listen to more often, The Weeknd or Billie Eilish? So who's your top artist? That's the question that I have for you. Who you like to listen to more? So we got that little poll going on. Yeah, we like to have some little polls up there on the channel sometimes. So keep an eye out for that. Okay, but so whenever you have a chance, go check that out and drop a vote in that. But until that time, hopefully everyone's able to join into the stream and tune in, and we'll have a good time here on the show. Let's go ahead and get into some headlines here. Let me go ahead and switch over to the little switcheroo. Okay. Oh, we got a chat going. Oh, already voted. Let's go. All right, that's what we like to hear. I already have voted in the poll. All right, so you are one of those 3 votes that is up there. And then, all right, it's time to switch over to our first sort of section. We're gonna get into some headlines. All right, so let's get what has been going on this past week since last we talked. I have been doing quite a few things, of which I'm going to detail to you later on. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about what else has been going on in the world. So let me share my screen, and we'll get right into this. Well, okay, here's a big thing right away is VMAs, which we will talk about a specific category later in the show. But the Megan Thee Stallion has been announced as the host for the VMAs, so she will be up there. Since she's up for, I think she's up for a couple things. Yes, she's up for a couple things as well. So she will be hosting, and she might win something. And I do think that she should win a couple of categories. So shout out to her for getting that hosting gig. And then let's see what is up next. All right, TikTok. Have you heard of this app? TikTok has released their list of the songs of the summer. Did I just write the song of the summer? Yes, you did. They had on their list of 10 songs of the summer. They had quite a few people that we're familiar with. Kendrick Lamar with Not Like Us. Megan Thee Stallion, who we just mentioned, in Glorilla with Wanna Be. And then Sabrina Carpenter, Please, Please, Please. Billie Eilish, Birds of a Feather. A couple more people on there. Tinashe with Nasty. But at the #1 spot, TikTok has claimed that the song of the summer is, in fact, the one and only $1 Million Baby by the one and only Tommy Richmond. That's right. Song of the summer right here. They say that this is what, with all their notes and everything, that Tommy Richmond is the #1, featured in 10 million plus TikTok videos this summer. So shout out to him, Tommy Richmond, for having the song of the summer. I'm sure that we're going to see Tommy. It makes me feel like we're going to see Tommy Richmond on our Best New Artist whenever we get closer to the Grammys time and everything. So kind of interested that we didn't see him too much here on the VMAs. But that's okay. We'll let it go and we'll let it be. So that is Tommy Richmond. Let's go ahead and pop over before we get to a couple other things. Let's go ahead and get into our charts and before we get to charts, let's go ahead and hit in some of the releases for this week. So let's hit some albums that were out this week. We had Sabrina Carpenter long-awaited album, Short and Sweet. That came out this week, and as the title states, it is in fact quite short and sweet. It's 12 songs, but only 36 minutes. And so I was looking at this, or whatever, if you're just thinking about metrics, if you're just thinking about stats, is we had 2 of these songs, Please, 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 and Espresso, come out, but it's 10 new songs in only, what is that? Quick math, 10 new songs in 30 minutes. So she's really running through and getting in some good stuff here. I've listened to this album through a couple times at this point. Slim Pickens is one that stands out to me. I also like Light of Girls. taste is one that seems to be sort of like the lead single now that the album has released. Well, not the lead single, but it seems to be sort of the album release song that is there putting a push behind with the music videos and everything. And so that has been out this week. Let's also mention our sort of rock indie darling of the week. We got Fontaines DC with Romance. Listen to this album a time or two as well. It has the song Starburster that I'm a big fan of, but there's a couple other ones on here. If you want a bit of a rock indie feel, maybe a little metal here and there, go check out this new album, alternative album by Fontaines DC, Romance. It seemed to be getting some good reviews from the general critics, and I also thought, no, I had a good time listening to it. So it's quite different from our more of our Sabrina Carpenter. But if you want a good mix, those were two albums that came out this week. So those are releases in music. Let's go ahead and get to headlines this week of releases in movies. What did we have at the movies? This is one that came out, released for the first time in theaters this week, Blink Twice, starring Channing Tatum. So, I mean, if you're talking about Song of the Summer, in that Wannabe song by Glorilla and Megan Thee Stallion, White Boy Wasted, Channing Tatum, you see in this movie that he gets a little white boy wasted and gets a little crazy. So I went and saw this movie Friday night. I was hoping for some good things. I can see a little bit of what is going on in this movie. Channing Tatum plays this character, Slater King, who's like this billionaire who invites this cocktail waitress to his island for a vacation, and then weird things start to happen. Watch out! And so I thought it was okay. There are things in here that I felt like had some really good potential. I always like a good thriller. I always like a good little I won't say like an island story, but like a story that is sort of like we're in a locked room type situation. Whether it's like you're on a train or you're on a boat or you're on an island, you're just like, okay, we have some weird thing going on. We got to figure out what's going on, and crazy stuff happening. It's kind of like a mystery, and I feel like that could have like leaned into this a little more. I feel like there is a twist as a little bit of something that I was not expecting, but I could kind of generally see where this movie was headed, and so that made me be like, come on, you don't have to be so obvious about where everything's going. You can be a little more artistic with it. You don't have to hold my hand so much, but you know, I am happy to see. It seems like Channing Tatum was having some fun in this role. Happy to see director Zoe Kravitz. I just wish they had given her more. It seems like they were kind of holding her back and kind of saying like, "Oh no, you have to make sure it's super clear what's happening in the story and that the audience knows what's going on." I'm like, no, just let her cook and we'll be fine. But not so. So it was all right. It was all right, but I think it had more potential. I had some very easy things that could have been cut out some of these things, and like it would make the movie a little shorter, which it felt a little long. It felt like we just need to get in and out, but that was Blink Twice. So I wish I had some better things to say about it, but we do what we can do. I also went to Sidewalk this weekend, the Sidewalk Film Festival in Birmingham, and I was like, while I'm there, I gotta check out a documentary. I gotta check out a music documentary, so that way I can tell you freaks what it was like. And so I checked out this Max Roach, The Drum Also Waltzes, because I was like, I need to learn a little bit more about music. And this was a pretty interesting documentary about this character Max Roach, about this not character, real life guy, a real life musician, and sort of his life and his role in the civil rights movement and everything that he had done over the course of his life, because he really was involved in music for the entirety of his life, and he had a long life and involved in all different aspects of music. That was one thing that they said. As this jazz drummer that he just continued to be involved in doing something new and in moving with the movements of music. What he started off in like bebop, and then he ended up in like doing some stuff with hip hop, and just like over the course of that as music changed and grew, is he was always involved in it as a drummer, just trying to like break new ground and do new things. So and trying to get some things done. So yeah, that was that was this documentary. I found it quite informative, just about this time in history, about the jazz scene, which I'm not too familiar with. Uh, and just I thought it was an interesting documentary. So if you have a chance to see it, I think like I saw that it was like it's a you can, I guess they have it on here that you can get it on Prime Video, or I think it was also involved with PBS or whatever. So that was Max versus Jamal Waltzes. One thing I will also say is that he was sort of in the documentary. They claimed that he was sort of one of the first people to do a protest album, and the protest album that he made, I really liked the cover for it. Because they were noting that a lot of like black artists at this time, whenever they would make an album, is they would do a lot of like abstract art, or they wouldn't put the artist on the cover, or they would just make some sort of design or whatever. And because if they wouldn't want to have someone see it and be like, oh, it's by a black artist, I'm a racist music consumer, and I don't want to buy this now. And so that was a marketing thing that was done to still sell this good art to people who were racist or whatever. But I really like, as part of his sort of political intentions, is he made this very intentional album of saying like, this is, we insist for these rights, this freedom now. This is like whenever black people weren't allowed to like sit at sort of white lunch counters or whatever. It was segregated in that way. And so this one is straight up like, we are sitting here, we are looking at you, we are challenging you. And then you have this sort of white guy in the back, sort of looking disgruntled, like, oh man. So they've created this whole photograph, which I find very striking, and especially given the context of what is happening here. So yeah, I thought that was also, I love, here on the Goodie Awards, we like the combination of music plus whatever, plus some other art form, whether it's film or art, or like album art or whatever. And so I just wanted to highlight this album cover, because I think that's quite a striking cover right there. So that I checked out that movie as well, that documentary as well, this weekend. Okay, so if your last chance, if you haven't voted in the poll on the Goodie Awards community tab of who is your most favorite artist, who is your most listened to artist, whether it's The Weeknd or Billie Eilish, drop it in the chat right now, so I can snap it up and see what it is, because we're gonna end that little poll. But yeah, here as we are continuing on in our headline section. Hope you guys are. Thanks for tuning in and everything here on this Indie Sunday, brought to you by the Goodie Awards. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and get into our next headline here. As we see on our little poll here, that we actually have that Billie Eilish is here listed as the most listened to artist by our users who have voted in our poll. And that actually matches up pretty well with this headline that Billie Eilish is now the most listened to artist in the world on Spotify. She has the most streamed monthly artist. Look at this, 100 million monthly listeners. So Billie Eilish posted this. I really can't even believe this. Love you all so much. This is the craziest thing ever. So shout out to her for now being she has I just brought up The Weeknd though, because he used to be the most streamed monthly artist on Spotify, and now it is Billie Eilish. Okay, so oh, and we can see commenting on here, Chaperone. We'll get to her later as we get into some of our music topics. But let us, as we wrap up here in the headline section, let's go ahead and hit our charts so we can see what songs are doing well this today, and how they have done this week. It'll be really interesting to see how Sabrina Carpenter and the Short and Sweet album, what sort of stands out from that. It seems like Taste was the song that seems to be doing really well. So we'll see next week what has done well on the charts. Let's see. So Birds of a Feather, Billie Eilish, here on the Global 200, Birds of a Feather is at the top. And then we have Sabrina Carpenter and Chaperone, Benson Boone, and more hanging out here. And then in the Hot 100, we've got Shabuzi is still holding strong at number 1 with a bar song. We got that Post Malone, I Had Some Help. That Post Malone album, I talked about it a little bit last week. It seems to not have been like really getting too much play as far as like an album. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like, is this project a dud? So we'll see how that continues to develop on the charts and everything. Then we got Kendrick Lamar, Sabrina Carpenter, Billie Eilish. There's Tommy Richmond, Song of the Summer, $1 Million Baby, Chappell Roan, Sabrina Carpenter, Teddy Swims, and Hozier is back with Too Sweet at number 10. So that is our charts this week. And so that is our, those are a bit of our headlines here on the Indie Sundays, brought to you by the Goodie Awards. Now let's transition into our first topic here. Let's get into topic number one. Let's see, what do I want to hit first? I got two main topics for the night to get into. Now that we've gotten past our headlines, let's go ahead and get into this Chappell Roan situation. So recently, Chappell Roan has come out and said, so as we have noted, so she hit, I think it was just this week, just this past week, since the show ended last Sunday, is that Chappell Roan has, let me go ahead and switch over to this. Oh, hang on. All right, let me do my transition here. Now's your chance to do, while I'm doing the transition, now is your chance to do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want during this transition. Chappell. Oh, am I bad for not knowing how to spell Chappell Roan? I know how to spell her last name. Okay, wait, did I get it right? I did. It's 2 P's and 2 L's. So let's talk about this Chappell Roan situation. Don't worry, I don't think she has done anything bad, but I'll leave that up to you, for you to have your opinion on it as we get into this. Okay. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the Chappell Roan situation. I'm going to tell you what's been going on if you haven't heard it, but if you do already know what's going on, I'm going to also give a little angle, a little take on it that I want to add. So Chappell Roan has come out recently because she's gotten really big. She's gotten like number 2 album in the world, right behind Taylor Swift with the Tortured Poets Department. So she is big, and she has been doing really, really well, and been having some hit songs and everything, and having a lot of success. But she recently came out and said that spoke directly to her fans on TikTok and everything, put out some videos saying that she is really getting to a point where it seems like things have gone too far, and things are not okay, and she's really wanting the fans to stop. It's because it really comes down to these fan interactions. She feels like people are like stalking her. They're stalking her family, especially in these fan interactions that she has. People come up to her asking for pictures, which is things that people tend to do or whatever. But then she feels like people are upset with her, or she has said that people are upset with her whenever she refuses to take a picture with someone or give a hug to someone. And she's saying like, "Hey, you guys, I'm just like a random person on the internet, and you are treating me like you know me. You don't know me. Like, you need to calm down. You need to stop because this is getting to be too much." And she even said, and I'm going to come back to this point, but she has noted in the past, she had talked about if it got to the point where she felt like her family was in danger, or she was in danger, or her family was unsafe, that she might just like step back from music. She might stop doing it or whatever. That would be the time to stop. And so it seems to have gotten a little bit to that point. And so she's trying to, I would say, she's trying to, as things get to this point, say that, hey, something needs to change, or else I'm going to have to make a decision. I'm going to have to make a really hard decision here. And so she put that out, and then people reacted. And I think a lot of what I've seen from creators and so forth is understanding where she's coming from, and that this is a situation that, especially for someone to get famous so quickly as she did, she's been in the industry for a long time, but she's just gotten really, really famous in this past year. We've been talking to her about this past year or whatever. I just like wasn't even familiar with her last year, but even just these past several months, she has gotten really big, and so everyone knows about her now. She's got some of the biggest songs in the world. She's got one of the biggest albums in the world right now, and that can be a little much. And you add in all these fans, you add all these new fans, and there's going to be some people who are unreasonable among them. And some of those people, even if they aren't super unreasonable and or the people who are stalking or whatever, are still like saying like, hey, this is part of what the lifestyle is. Like, you're this famous. You like, maybe you just like can't hack it if you can't handle these fan interactions. Sure, they're not great, but like that's just part of what it is. But no, she's really seems to be saying that like, and she's come out with a statement as well saying that she doesn't owe her fans anything, and that whenever she's on stage, she's working, and she's going to give 100% of her job whenever she do 100% of her time and energy to you as a fan. But whenever she's not there, she's not working, and she does not owe you uh, anything whenever she's not working. She does not owe you to be a celebrity whenever she's not doing her job as a celebrity. And it's understandable that would be like, it's hard to be always on. Like, if you're working at the Starbucks or whatever, to be, no one's, whenever you're out walking on the street, after you've clocked out of your shift, no one's coming up to you and being like, hey, can you make me a coffee? Can you make me a coffee? You'd be like, stop, what are you doing? Like, get out of here. So it's just sort of she's trying to cut down on these parasocial relationships that seem to exist between these very famous artists and their fan base, which I think makes sense. And so even if you don't agree with me, that this seems to be a reasonable thing for Chaperone. And she's not just talking about like a fan like saying hi to her or whatever. She's talking about someone like invading her personal space. She's talking about someone stalking her. She's talking about someone finding out where her family, her sister works, and like going to bug them or whatever. It's like that's weirdo behavior. It's internet weirdo behavior, parasocial weirdo behavior. And there's a very real timeline I see where she pulls back from music, where Chaperone decides not to do music anymore. I don't think she wants to do that. I think part of this is her not wanting to do that and saying, hey, something needs to change because something's going to give. And so I will say so hopefully this all gets worked out and people start to be normal again. But if things don't change, which it might not, I want to sort of give an angle of what could happen because we have seen this happen before, and I'm going to bring up a few artist examples of some of other people who have pulled back from fame, because she's obviously not the first person to experience this. But famous rock band the White Stripes, who have Seven Nation Army. Meg White of the White Stripes, the drummer for the White Stripes, is not with the band anymore. I mean, Jack White of the White Stripes just came out with a solo album a week or two ago because they are not making White Stripes music anymore. They're not touring anymore. Meg White doesn't even give interviews anymore. And I was looking up stuff. Doing some research on this, is that she's always been like shy and reserved, is what it said. But and she's suffered from anxiety attacks, and part of that could be to some degree just part of someone's normal reactions or whatever. Just like, and maybe if you are super anxious, you can't do the performing lifestyle, you can't do the touring lifestyle. But also with Meg White at the time, something else that she was experiencing is that she was getting criticized a lot for her playing style. She was getting a lot of like these just sexist, misogynistic stuff thrown at her for being a drummer and not being a good drummer, not being a type of drummer you're supposed to be. And so I could see how even someone who experiences anxiety is able to do this, but once it gets to be too much, you're like, okay, like I can't do this anymore. I'm just going to pull back from the public. So that's a reason someone might pull back, is they are getting criticized super heavily. And another reason someone might pull back is John Deacon used to be the bassist for Queen, but after Freddie Mercury passed away, he just never performed with the band again. He didn't even go to Queen's induction in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He has just been very not involved. So that's another reason someone could pull back. People can do these. People do whenever it gets to a point. That's the point that I'm making. Whenever it gets to the point that it makes sense for someone as a personal decision to pull back from the music that they create, even if they're very successful, even if they like doing it, they will do it. Lauryn Hill is another example that I'll put out. She has this album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, that came out in 1999, I want to say, and this was a super big album. This was if you think about a few years ago, whenever Billie Eilish won whenever it was the year of Billie Eilish, basically, and she still is like a massively huge artist, of course, but Billie Eilish, whenever she burst onto the scene with mainstream wise with When We All Fall Asleep, Where Did We Go? At the Grammys that year, she swept all 4 categories, and this is a similar situation that happened with Lauryn Hill. Is in I think at the 1999. Okay, this came out in 1998. So I think at the 1999 Grammys, she won Best New Artist and Album of the Year, which is a crazy thing to do. That does not happen like every year. That is very unusual for such a thing to happen. You usually have to be in the industry for a long time, or to have done something very intense, something very good to be winning Best New Artist as well as Album of the Year. And we've seen that someone like Billie Eilish continues to still be really big. And with this Lauren Hill, she recently appeared. You may have seen her album recently because it was at Apple's 100 best albums. She was at #1 on the top of the list, and a lot of people really pointed to her that she had really changed the game of combining R&B stylings with hip hop and making sort of this melodic rap. So you don't get someone like Kanye West or Drake without her setting the way first in the late '90s. But then she had so much attention on her, so much maybe criticism on her, so much around her, so much fame so quickly. It's that she retired from the spotlight and she just has sporadically released music since then. And this is the type of situation that we could get with Chaperone. I think Chaperone likes performing. I think she is a very extroverted person. I mean, I could be wrong about that, but I think she likes doing her job. She likes making music. She likes getting up there performing, but she does not like having to deal with people being weird. And this is a situation that could lead to her, like one of these other artists, like Lauryn Hill, Meg White, John Deacon, even Shirley Temple. These people who have had this massive fame, and it's just gotten to the point where it's like I can't even be like a normal person anymore. People aren't treating me like a normal person, so I'm just gonna, I'm out. I'm not gonna do it anymore. So that's just situation we are right now. I don't want it to continue this way. I don't want to. I think there's so much more that we can get from Chaperone. There's so much more music, and you just have to. And I don't think it's like us. I don't think it's. But just something to remember is that if you see anyone being kind of weird, if you see anyone being kind of possessive of a artist, of a performer, of a creative person of any kind, whether it's like a musician or an actor or a comedian or whatever, it's just like, hey, it's okay to not be weird around them. Like, don't be weird. Just don't be a weird person. And I think we'll all be okay. So that's the Chaperone situation. So we're gonna see how that goes. VMAs are coming up in less than a month here, September 11th. She's performing there. So we may. I would not be surprised if we hear her make some statement or she says she makes some reference to the situation at the VMAs, which are coming up in just about like 2.5 weeks now. So that's the Chaperone situation, and that is that. If you guys have any comments on that situation, if you have any thoughts, if you agree with me on this, if you find it anything that I haven't said or any angles that you have, that was just something I was like in hearing this, I was like, okay, this has probably happened before. What have we seen? What artists have we lost out on music from because they have pulled away because of various reasons? That's one thing I saw. It's not just like super massive amounts of fame, but it's like other personal situations or whatever. But this is a personal decision that decides you to pull away from music. So if you have any thoughts on that, just be sure to drop them in the chat, and I'll put them up here on the screen, and we'll talk about them. But yeah, we're gonna. You have a quick moment to do that as I do this transition. It's your transition time where you can do whatever you want as I get ready for the next moment. Okay, let me pull up my next. I was mentioned a little bit about the VMAs. We're gonna get into our list of the day, list of the stream. We're talking about no, hey, get out of there. That's not what I want. Here we go. That's what I want. VMAs. We are going to the next category here at the VMAs as we continue to get ever closer to them. And this is me. I just want the Grammys to happen, you guys. I just want to see the Grammys happen. But I will take the VMAs for what they are until we get to that, because I just love award shows. I love seeing lists and things and talking about that stuff. So we talked about some general categories: video of the year last week, song of the year, and so on and so forth. Tommy Richmond's not here. That's why he's saying, why is he not here at Song of the Year? Okay. Is he anywhere? Let's see if he's I don't think he is. That's just okay. That's just like missed opportunity. Maybe it's because it's the VMAs and like the music video for that wasn't really big, but like, come on, guys. Okay. But today we're going to talk about the best rock category. And I'm going to go through each of these, but I'm going to try to keep it brief by talking about something I like and something I don't like about each one. And some I like more than the others, and I'll tell you what my favorite one is at the end of this. But let me go through these and tell you a little bit about what I think about them. Okay, so let's start with Bon Jovi with Legendary. And I'm going to pull up as we talk about these, I'm going to pull up the music videos, but I am going to mute the sound because I don't want to get copyright struck. So we're going to do about that. But Bon Jovi came out with a new album this year after the lead singer had vocal cord surgery, and so I think there's a documentary on Hulu about it or whatever. But they are out with a new album, and this song "Legendary" is off that album. And let me show you a little bit of the music video here. Um, I'm gonna be kind of mean to this music video because I am not a fan of it. But let me tell you something that I do like about this, because this is just kind of just like your basic performance music video, and it just has them sort of playing in this little. I guess they're just like on a green screen basically, and it just has them playing the song. And I don't like how it just is trying to be like it comes off a little cheesy. It's just trying to be inspirational. It just cuts to these random people to be like, "Hey, this is you. You could also be legendary." Oh my gosh! So it's kind of just your basic performance video, but I will say I'm trying to be positive in some ways, and I do like the lighting. I do think the lighting is cool. So I will say is I do like the lighting in this music video, and it is cool that they start off in their little sort of studio playing, and then like the walls go away, and they're in this. Whoa! Look at the VFX there. Now they're out in this garden area, and then it ends with them returning back to the music video and to the music studio, and the walls return and come back and everything. So a full circle moment is always fun in a music video. But all right, so that's song number one. Let's get into song number two. What do we have up next here at the uh, in the rock category? Coldplay has come out. So their album is not out yet, but they have released a single, "Feels Like I'm Falling in Love," and they Moon Music is the name of their album, coming out in October, I want to say. So that's coming out sometime soon or whatever. And their music video for this is there are things that I do really like about this one or whatever. This is much more of a big focus on for this sign language interpreter. I think her name's Natasha. Uh, Sort of interpreting the song. And there's a whole statement in the description about like how she interpreted the song, not deliberately but like artistically. And I always appreciate that. It's like even though I'm not a big fan of the song, and I would say that's what I don't like. I'm not a big fan of the song, and some of the editing is kind of weird. But I do think that it is. I am actually a fan of this music video because it seemed like it was a really collaborative process to bring in a sign language artist like Natasha here. And it was cool to read her statement about how she interpreted the song, and it seemed like people really cared about making this an actual thing. And plus, I think the development of the video is very cool. It starts off here just like in this negative space with her doing some stuff, and then like it repeats her a little bit, and then you bring in the band. But then it ends out with like they're in this big I think they're in Greece or whatever, and it's like they're performing the song, and there's a million people singing along, signing along, or whatever, and that's cool. That's cool. I can appreciate that. So that is that song. Coldplay, "Feels Like I'm Falling in Love." It's a cool moment. They definitely have some cool moments, and they lean into the black and white here, and I think it's all right. I think it's worthy of being here. It makes sense why it's here. It's also up for this song. This song is up for video for good, which makes sense. They are sort of taking like a DEI initiative in this video, so that makes sense to that as well. Okay, Green Day came out with an album like right at the start of this year, and they're this is one of the first music videos we have that I am a fan of. Like I'm actually like, okay, I'm watching it like, okay, this is good. Their song for Dilemma, let me show you, also incorporates black and white. And let me just play you a little. Let me just show you a little of this. Like, look at this starting image. The starting image for a music video is very important for me, and I just love how this starts as he's laying on the floor, and then as we zoom into him as he's singing, because it's like a cold open to the song and like a cold open to the music video. We just start right in, and then we start rotating, and then woo, this is fun. And then so I think that's a really cool first shot, and I think that is a great opportunity. I would say the black and white throughout this video could be seen as a little bit of a gimmick, sure, but I do think the song is fun, and you end up switching to color towards the end here, and I think that transition of them sort of flashing some little color moments before they full on go to completely color is really cool. Like I think that's a really cool editing idea, and I think that's a good touch. And I also like that the final shot repeats what the first shot was, but now it's in color. So we love a full circle moment in a music video. All right. So that is Green Day Dilemma. That was say the first one that's really like a contender of like, wow, okay, I think this is a good music video. I think if this one that'd be great. But let's go further down the list. We got Kings of Leon with Mustang. Their album, Can We Please Have? I think it's Can We Please Have Fun. It's either Can We Please Have Fun or Can We Just Have Fun? And that album came out earlier this year. And the lead single from the album, Mustang, has a music video, and I'm a fan of this music video as well. I'll show you a little bit of this one. Is really doing what I think is cool about the music video form. They really take this idea of they have all these little shots, these little moments, and they're making a big use of crash zooms, like big zoom ins on different things, and it develops over the course of the music video. Let's see. So you're kind of in the cityscape, and then you like zoom in on there's something going on over here, and then there's you swipe over and there's something going on over here, something going on over here. So it's cool. I like that type of thing. It reminds me a lot of a Glass Animals music video, Space Coast Coast to Coast, if you want to check that one out. I will say, if I'm being fair, a don't like thing is that it doesn't all this editing together doesn't quite seem to lead to anywhere. And there are some moments of the editing that I thought could have been better or more effective, but it is just like cool to look at, and I like the little weird things that they put in there. And there are some transitions is just very. A couple were so seamless. I was like, whoa! I did a double take. I was like, how did they even like do that or whatever? So I think that it is quite a interesting and remarkable music video, and I give props to this one as a good music video. And as a music video where I'm glad that they played around with the form of music videos to do something interesting. Okay, making our way through the list, snappy like. I really got into the weeds on editing a couple weeks ago, but just with some of these more genre categories, I'm just saying something I do like, something I don't like, or whatever. At least one thing. Let's get into these. Lenny Kravitz came out with an album earlier this year. Oh, what was the name of it? It was. What was the name of it? It was, I think, something about blue, I want to say. Let me see if this Blue Electric Light, that was the name of it. And so I thought it was an interesting album. I thought there were some good songs on there, and this song Human is up for best rock song best rock at the VMAs. And this music video, you sort of see them. It's kind of like they're on a parade through the city, Lenny Kravitz and his band, and then like everyone's listening, and all their devices and phones are getting sucked into these speakers, and then everyone starts to fly, and then and go up in the air, and then at the end, there starts to be this sort of the visual effects section where things are sort of coming apart and getting all trippy. So it's kind of interesting. It does seem. Here's something I do like is that Lenny Kravitz seems to be having a lot of fun, and I do think it's a visually interesting performance video, more so than the Bon Jovi song. But something I'm not as big of a fan of is that it feels kind of just like an Apple commercial, like just like the lens flares and the high production value just makes it seem kind of just like this very chic thing that's just advertising something to me, which also it doesn't seem like there's any really product placement, which is interesting. It seems like this place to do product placement. But all the devices and headphones and things are like unrecognizable brands. So it does just, it strikes me as a little corporate, just like some of the stuff. It's like, oh, let's all have fun and let's all like dress up like cool people. And I don't know. It strikes me a little like there's a little not much soul to it or whatever. But it seems like Lenny Kravitz is having a lot of fun. So I will say that. Okay, last music video in the category. And U2 Atomic City. So if I'm being honest, not a big YouTube fan. I think they're okay, but like they're just kind of old, man. I'm ageist. I'm rude. I'm just a but no, old people can make good stuff. Uh, but I feel like we have U2. I don't know if they've ever really been good at making music videos, but they performed at the Las Vegas Sphere. They had a residency earlier there this year, and it looks like they filmed this music video while they were there, and it's just kind of like your basic music video. It starts off kind of interesting where they have this little kid, and then like I like how it's like he sees a bright light and he gets washed out. I think this is a cool shot, but then it just transitions them and just like singing the song, and it's like, oh my gosh, look at us playing our instruments and look at me singing, and let me just like sing the song, and there's we'll have a sort of at an angle to make it somewhat visually interesting, but we're not really like doing anything. It's kind of like we're just here on the boardwalk, just singing, and it's just like, okay, wow, cool, man. Um, you know, it just there's really not that much that happens. So I would say that is what I don't like about this is that it's just kind of boring. It's just there's just not really anything. He's just singing the song, and there's some lights. I will say I do like whenever they towards the end where they transition into the sphere and some of the stuff they were able to there because they were able to shoot in here. Obviously, like these shots. I mean, that's just cool. That's just a cool visual right there. I mean, like obviously, whoever made this music video agrees with me because I think they put that as their um, uh, what they put that as the thumbnail. So you know, this is cool. Like they have some they're able to play around with some cool shots and angles. Whoever was doing the shooting in here did a good job. Like okay, that's a cool shot or whatever. So I like those or whatever, but I think it's more of a coincidence. I mean, it really speaks more to the venue being cool than them like really doing anything cool with the music video. Like, come on, he's literally just singing. It's just like you've seen this a million times. You've watched any music video, any basic music video, you've seen this or whatever. Cool. Oh, shout out the crowd. Maybe if I'm was there, I can see myself, and that makes me feel really special. It's like I wasn't there. I should feel special. I want to feel special when I watch a music video, and I don't feel special watching this. So that is that music video. So best rock category. Let me speak on it. We'll get to best. We won't do any other categories this week. We'll get to best alternative and a couple others I want to hit before we get to the VMAs in September. But I will say I'm going to put Kings of Leon Mustang as my. Oh, can we please have fun? I was right. Kings of Leon Mustang. I'm putting at number one. I want that to win, and I think it should win, and I think it will win. And then I'll put Green Day Dilemma as my second. If that won, I would be a little sad that Kings of Leon didn't get it, but I would be okay. And then I would probably put Feels Like Falling in Love. They might give it to that just because like it makes people feel good to give it to that. But these other ones, although they maybe have moments here that are kind of fun, they are really not doing anything that special. So I think Mustang number one, Dilemma number two, Feels Like Falling in Love number three is the list, and that is what they should go with. If you disagree with me, feel free to drop it in the comments or let me know on the YouTube or Instagram if you think something else should be here or if you think I am wrong. And if you do, we can have a little conversation there. But that is what is the topic for the VMAs, the rock song that I wanted to cover this week, just sort of diving into that as we get closer to that event happening soon. So, okay, let me do my last transition here as we get into closing out the show because I've been going for about 45 minutes here. Had a little bit of a shaky start. I hadn't shared my camera, so I had to like close it and then reopen it. So glad that you guys were able to tune in. But thanks for tuning in. Thanks for. I hope you've had having a good indie Sunday. Hope enjoying these topics. Ooh, I got a little chat. Let's see. Hang on. Let's see. Aurora says, "Would you ever review like a whole album's music videos like this?" I think that's a good question. I think if the situation presents itself, maybe let's see, maybe after the music awards, haha. I am not opposed to diving into something like this. I think especially if it's something I find worthy of talking about, I would say 100%. And I think if it's an album that presents itself like, especially like if we get to the Grammys and it's like something wins album of the year, and I feel like it's worthy to sort of like go through like this is why I think it should have won album of the year. Maybe this is why I think made it a weak contender. But this is like sort of my overall thoughts. I would not be above doing something like that. I think that could be interesting to do because I'm just trying to do something that seems interesting that has general audience appeal. So we can go a little more niche with talking about some of these topics, but I think yeah, if there's something that is in the conversation about to examine, I think that makes sense to do. So yeah, I'm open to do that. So we'll definitely, if there's something that you see, send me a message on the Instagram, the at Goodie Awards on Instagram, if you see something that you like, or you can comment on this stream on the YouTube or whatever. Yeah. So this has been the Goodie Awards live stream. Stay tuned throughout the week. We'll put out some more content, maybe some polls or whatever, leading up to next week. And I hope you have a great Indie Sunday. Hope you have a good week. And if anything happens this week, if anything comes up, we'll be sure to talk about it here at the next Indie Sunday stream brought to you by the Goodie Awards. So thank you for tuning in, my loyal viewers. Thank you for being awesome little people, and thanks for voting in the things and engaging in the content, because it makes it more fun for all of us to have you guys engage. So all right, I'll see you next week right here.